Kiranpreet Cheema now joins us in studio. Now, Kiran, you had a chance to ask the Prime Minister about how trade and religious bias will go hand in hand. Can you elaborate there, Kiran?
That's right, Meetu. Let's take a look at that clip first and what he had to say in response to that. Prime Minister, in a small town of India's Orissa state, Christians continue to live in fear. We all know concept of free religion in China. Recently, Sinuk Nexon deal. The Chinese company itself faces cases or allegations of religious persecution against Falun Gong religious groups. So my question is, how assertive will Canada be in telling countries like India and China that Canada is eyeing for business and more business, that get your act right, otherwise no business, or at least less business?
Obviously, as we have done with all countries, including India and China, although I don't like them mixed together. India, for all of its faults, is a democratic society that does accept pluralism in principle. But all in our dealings with all countries, including countries like China, we are always very clear about the importance and the promotion of our values. Obviously, we want to be very careful were we ever to be involved in anything that through any kind of commercial activity that in and of itself would undermine those values. So that is a serious consideration in everything we do.
Great question, Kiran, and a very diplomatic answer. Now, Kiran, this Office for Religious Freedom has been modeled after one in the United States that was implemented in the late 1990s during the Bill Clinton administration. How well has that U.S. office worked?
Me too. The U.S. office has been criticized for being more Christian-centric, and this particular concern did come up today, and the new ambassador replied saying it's a human issue, not a theological one. So regardless of one's faith, this office is about human rights protection, he said.
And was there any reason given as to why the government chose to make today's announcement using an Ahmadiyya mosque as a backdrop?
Mr. Harper mentioned the location in his speech as a place where those once persecuted can now freely worship. Of course, he was talking about Ahmadiyya Muslims who face discrimination in a number of countries, including Pakistan. However, there were questions floating around that by announcing a Christian appointee in a Muslim place, if the government is trying to show that the office will be neutral to all religions.
And the ORF, which will be implemented within the Foreign Policy Department, it's still quite a complicated concept. I think the main question is, how will it be monitored here?
Mitu, it indeed is a complicated concept. I mean, there was a lot of rhetoric today about pluralism and ensuring human rights and religious freedom. But how exactly will this office work is not clear yet. Will its action be more dialogue-based, and how strictly it will be enforcing Canada's mandate remains to be seen.
Well, it has been a very interesting day, and I'm sure there will be more reaction expected in the coming days. Thanks, Kiran. That was Kiranpreet Cheema joining us in our studio. Now, Islam